very much for that question, and thank you very much, Your Excellency, for putting this conference together. From where I sit, I think we can answer that in a very strong affirmative. There is a Kenyan often saying, I think your car breaks down on the side of the road in a small village, and somebody shows up, those cars that you could fix, and you explain, and they tell you, inawezekana. And it's a guy who just came out from nowhere. But I think that can-do attitude of Kenya is what has saved us during this period. The response, for instance, to production of medical commodities, CS Kagwe just mentioned it at one NARC meeting and said, we're running short of ventilators. Can these people make it? In the presser, immediately after that, we challenged the motor sector to come up with ventilators. In 2 weeks flat, we had a prototype we were reviewing in our office. And right now, we have 2 which have been calibrated and are out for clinical tests. It's been done in less than 6 months. These guys had never done ventilators before, but now it's actually something that could go into the market before the end of the year. We've talked about face masks and stuff like that. People have actually produced, we are exporting. In the beginning, we shut down, because of social distancing. A lot of workers went home. But in no time, people had spread themselves out. We had shut down because of exports to Europe, because there was a collapse in the market there. The statistics that have just been released today by the Export Promotion Council shows that in the last 5 months, we have exported, the last 9 months, we have exported more than we did last year. And it is because Kenyans rallied, bore these restrictions, but they were very, very determined to work. So in that sense, I think our response wasn't really surprising, because I think it is innate in Kenyans to respond to these to situations. We've got a very, very positive attitude, and we have taken this opportunity to construct ourselves. The way the government in Kenya responded, we talk about lockdown. But when you read about what other countries have done, we actually haven't had the lockdowns. We have had restrictions, but people have managed to work within those restrictions. We've had guidelines, and people have observed that guidelines. Thankfully, as Dr. Ambacho says, by observing the guidelines, you're not as sick anymore, but you're productive. And I think that for me is, answering that question, is that we have really taken this opportunity. The second thing we've used this opportunity is to rebuild back our confidence in our own industries. We've been talking Buy Kenya, Build Kenya, but we haven't taken all the necessary steps to actually do that. Thank you, Jane, for the committee for buying from Kenya. We have gazetted a list of products that can be procured from within by government. And therefore, it is the challenge to Kenyan industrialists to ensure that this faith is not misplaced. There are many people who import medical goods. They showed up, they went to the press and said, these things are not, they don't meet standards. But the doctors themselves will tell you that the locally produced PPEs, they feel more confident in them. So we need to start believing in ourselves and rising up to this challenge, and we can confirm we can live with restrictions, but we can still be productive within them and discover new ways of working. You can have a meeting without drinking tea, but you'll still have the meeting from wherever you are. So we can be very creative.
Okay.